Hello, good morning. I am Professor S.R. Patel, Production Engineering Department, Lakdirji Engineering College, Morbi. Today we are going to discuss the fluid mechanics, and the topic is Introduction to Fluid Mechanics. Fluid mechanics is defined as the science that deals with the behavior of the fluid, whether the fluid is at rest or the fluid is in motion. If the fluid is at rest, it is called the fluid statics. If the fluid is in motion, that is called the fluid dynamics. Now the definition. There are the different definitions of fluid kinematics, fluid dynamics that we have discussed. Now what is fluid? A substance which exists in three primary phases, that is solid, liquid and gas. A substance in the liquid or gas phase is referred as the fluid. So fluid will be in the form of either liquid or gas. Now what is fluid? See, we can see here the picture. When constant shear force is applied, a solid eventually stops deforming at some fixed strain angle, whereas a fluid never stops deforming and approaches a certain rate of strain. So here we can see here the force is applied. It's a deformed rubber. Here we can see the liquid and the gas. In the liquid, molecules can move relative to each other, but the volume remains relatively constant because of the strong cohesive forces between the molecules. As a result, liquid takes the shape of the container it is in it, where gas, on the other hand, it expands until it encounters the walls of the containers. So here it's a difference between the liquid and the gas. So what is it? Liquid is difficult to compress and it's often regarded as incompressible. It is practically, you can say it, incompressible, where gas it can easily compressed. Liquid occupies a fixed volume and it will take the shape of the container, whereas in the gas there is no fixed volume. It changes volume to expand to fill the containing vessels. The free surface is formed if the volume of the container is greater than the liquid, where completely filled the vessel in case of gas. So no free surface is formed. Now different types of fluid flows we can classify. So it is the viscous, inviscid regions of the flow. Different types of flows. Here we can see viscous versus inviscid regions of the flow. You can see in the figure. Here fluid flows can be classified as internal versus external flow. The fluid flow is classified as being internal or external, it depending on whether the fluid is forced to flow in a conformed channel or over the surface. If the flow when unbounded fluid over the surface, such as plate, wire or pipe, is external flow, where the flow in the pipe, or you can say flow in a duct, that is called the internal flow. You can also classify as the compressible or incompressible flow. A flow is classified as being compressible or incompressible depending on the level of variation of the density during the flow. Incompressibility is an approximation and flow is said to be incompressible if density remains nearly constant. Here, a pressure of 210 atm, for example, it causes the density of liquid water at 1 atm to change by just 1%. So gases on the other end, they are highly compressible. A pressure change of just 0.01 atm, for example, it causes the change of 1% in the density of atmospheric air. So gas flows can often be approximated as incompressible if the density changes are under about 5%. Compressibility effects of air can be neglected at the speeds under about 100 meter per second. Now you can classify the fluid flows. There are three types of flows: laminar flow, transitional flow, and turbulent flow. So some flows are smooth and orderly, while others are not orderly. So highly ordered fluid motion, they are called the laminar flow, and highly disordered fluid motion, that is called the turbulent flow, and in between they are all transitional flows. The flow of low viscosity fluids such as air at high velocities is typically turbulent, and flow that alternates between being laminar and turbulent is called the transitional flow. Now, natural or unforced versus forced flow. A fluid flow is said to be natural or forced, depending upon how the fluid motion is initiated. In a forced flow, a fluid is forced to flow over a surface or in a pipe by some external means, say some pumps, fan, etc. In natural flows, any fluid motion is due to natural means such as buoyancy effect, which manifests itself as the rise of the warmer fluid and the fall of the cooler fluid. In solar hot water systems, for example, the thermosiphoning effect is commonly used to replace the pumps by placing the water tank sufficiently above the solar collectors. Now you can say steady flow or unsteady flow. The term steady and uniform, they are used frequently in engineering, and thus it is important to be clear. The term steady implies no change at a point with time. Term steady means no change at a point with time, and opposite of the steady is unsteady. Now the fluid has a certain properties. Say pressure, temperature, volume, mass. We are familiar with this type of properties. So, but we may not be familiar with the other properties of the fluid such as viscosity, thermal conductivity, modulus of elasticity, thermal expansion coefficient, electric resistivity, even velocity, etc. So these properties may be intensive property or extensive properties. Now let us understand what is this. So these intensive properties, they are those properties, they are independent of the mass of a system. So they are independent of the mass, such as temperature. So temperature does not depend upon the mass. Pressure, density, like that. And extensive properties. So extensive properties are those whose values depends on the size or extent of the system, say total volume, total mass, and total momentum. They are the examples of the extensive properties. These are the easy sub-method to define to this whether its property is intensive or extensive. You can see in the picture.